Her dad shook my hand and said, "So you're him." I had no idea what he meant the moment his father wrapped his weathered hand around mine. He smiled with the kind of relief that only comes after years of waiting. Then he quietly said, "So you're him." My heart stumbled. I had never met this man before. I had only been dating his daughter, Rachel, for 6 months, and suddenly it felt like I had walked into the middle of a story everyone else already knew except me. Before we continue, if you believe kindness can heal broken hearts, if you believe in hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps more heartfelt stories reach people who need them most. It happened on a warm Saturday afternoon in a quiet neighborhood outside Asheville, North Carolina. I had spent the entire drive rehearsing polite introductions, wondering if Rachel's parents would approve of an ordinary high school history teacher who still drove an aging pickup truck and rented a small apartment. Rachel deserved someone extraordinary. She was intelligent, gentle, and somehow managed to make everyone around her feel seen. I often wondered why she had chosen me. Her father, Thomas, didn't let go of my hand immediately. His gray eyes studied mine with surprising warmth before he nodded, as if confirming something to himself. Rachel looked away with an embarrassed smile, while her mother, Grace, wiped tears from the corners of her eyes before pretending she had dust in them. The whole scene made no sense. Throughout dinner, I searched for clues. The family laughed easily, shared old stories, and welcomed me with genuine affection. Yet every now and then, Thomas glanced at me with that same grateful expression, as though I had already done something remarkable for his family. I hadn't, at least, not that I knew of. As the evening settled into golden light, Thomas invited me onto the back porch while Rachel helped her mother with dessert. The old wooden swing creaked softly beneath us, and for several quiet moments, neither of us spoke. Finally, he reached into his shirt pocket and unfolded a faded piece of paper that had clearly been opened countless times over the years. It wasn't a letter. It was a newspaper clipping. The photograph showed a much younger version of me standing beside an elderly man on a snowy sidewalk in Chicago, nearly 8 years earlier. I remembered the day immediately. I had been 23, barely making enough money to pay my own bills, when I noticed an older gentleman struggling after slipping near a bus stop. Everyone else hurried past, worried about getting to work. I helped him to a nearby diner, bought him breakfast, and stayed with him until his daughter arrived. Before leaving, he had thanked me with tears in his eyes, insisting that I had reminded him that goodness still existed. I never even learned his full name. Thomas smiled gently as I stared at the clipping. The elderly man had been Rachel's grandfather. After that morning, Thomas explained, his father never stopped talking about the stranger who had chosen compassion instead of convenience. During the final years of his life, whenever disappointment or fear crept into the family, he would tell them about the young man who had refused to walk away from someone in need. He would say that one day God would cross their paths again, because kindness always finds its way home. I sat speechless. Rachel eventually joined us, carrying 3 cups of coffee. She admitted she had recognized my face months earlier, while helping her father organize old family boxes. She found the newspaper clipping and realized the stranger from her grandfather's favorite story was the same man she had recently started dating. She hadn't told me because she wanted to know me for who I was today, not because of something I had done years ago. That confession humbled me more than I can describe. I had spent so much of my life believing small acts disappeared into the past without meaning. I never imagined that a simple breakfast, an hour of my time, and choosing patience over hurry had quietly become part of another family's history. As the months passed, our relationship grew stronger, not because of the newspaper clipping, but because it reminded all of us that character is built through ordinary moments nobody expects to matter. Thomas became the father figure I had lost years earlier. Grace treated me like another son. Together we celebrated birthdays, holidays, and countless Sunday dinners, filled with laughter that somehow made every difficult week easier to carry. The greatest surprise came nearly a year later, when Thomas handed me the same newspaper clipping, now carefully framed. On the back, he had written a single sentence: The smallest kindness can become someone else's greatest inheritance. Before I finish this story, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and tell us about one small act of kindness that changed your life or someone else's. Your story might encourage another person who needs hope today. When Rachel and I stood together on our wedding day, Thomas shook my hand once again, before the ceremony began. This time, I understood exactly what he meant when he smiled and quietly repeated those same 4 words. So you're him, not because I was perfect, not because I was extraordinary, but because years before I had chosen compassion when no one was watching. And that single forgotten decision had traveled farther than I ever imagined. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us how ordinary kindness can leave an extraordinary legacy. Sometimes, the greatest chapters of our lives begin with a moment we almost walked past.